So what's the real difference between a legendary investor and, a brilliant scammer? You'd think there's this big, bright line separating the two, right? Well, what if I told you that line is actually incredibly blurry? What if the difference has nothing to do with ethics and everything to do with something else entirely? All right, let's get into it. To really unpack this, we're going to start with someone who is, let's just say, a total lightning rod in the world of crypto. And this is the core question, isn't it? Is this guy a genius building the future, or is he a master manipulator playing us all? I mean, ask 10 people in the space, and you'll get 10 completely different and very passionate answers. The debate gets heated fast. And look, you really can't get more blunt than this, a flat-out accusation from the CEO of a massive tech company. This isn't just some random comment online. It's one huge figure publicly calling out another. But is that really the whole story? Because here's the thing. If you try to judge what's happening by the old rule book, you're going to miss the entire game. To really understand it, you have to look at things through a completely different lens, where they're not even playing with the same kind of currency. Okay, so let's talk about a powerful concept that you're definitely not going to learn about in business school. It's a strategy where the goal isn't just to find value, it's to literally create it out of thin air. This is the key idea right here. What if the most valuable commodity isn't the stock or the coin or the asset itself? What if it's just eyeballs? Pure public focus. Let me show you exactly how this works. Okay, just picture this. You've got a beautiful, priceless antique vase, but it's being sold in some tiny, dusty auction house in the middle of nowhere. The only ad is a little flyer tacked to a community bulletin board. So one person happens to see it, wanders in, and buys it for a total steal. The value is there, sure, but the attention isn't. But now, let's take that exact same vase. This time, we give it to a world-class auction house like Sotheby's. They go all out. Glossy catalogs, targeted ads to billionaires, personal calls to every major museum and collector on the planet. Suddenly, thousands of the world's wealthiest eyes are laser-focused on this one object. So what happens? A massive bidding war. The price doesn't just go up, it goes through the roof. And here's the kicker. The vase itself didn't change at all. It's the same piece of pottery. The only thing that changed was the attention. Its price was literally manufactured by the spotlight. And hey, this isn't just for art. We see it all the time with the most famous value investor on earth. You have some sleepy little company, stock price is flat as a pancake. Then, bam, news breaks that Warren Buffett just bought a huge stake. Every financial news channel is talking about it. Millions of regular people who'd never heard of the company suddenly want in, and that flood of buying pressure sends the stock to the moon. It's the same playbook. Attention drives price. And that brings us right back to Justin's son. See, from this perspective, he's not a traditional investor at all. He's an attention investor. All those publicity stunts, the constant social media drama, that's not a distraction from his strategy. It is his strategy. He's his own Sotheby's. He's creating his own Buffett effect. But hold on. If someone like Warren Buffett also benefits from this, then where do we actually draw the line between a savvy investor and a manipulator? To get closer to an answer, we have to turn this critical lens back on the ultimate icon himself. We all know the public image of Buffett, right? The Oracle of Omaha, patiently buying and holding stocks for decades. Well, the source material we're digging into today paints a very, very different picture of his early years. We're talking about an aggressive, fast-moving trader who, it's claimed, faced multiple insider trading lawsuits. And Charlie Munger, his famous partner? Get this. According to the source, he didn't start out as an investment partner. He was Buffett's lawyer, the guy whose job it was to help clean up these legal messes. It was an incredibly powerful duo, the trader making moves and the lawyer managing the consequences. It was only later that he became the investment guru we know today. So you have to ask yourself, right? If this stuff is out there, why isn't it part of the legend we all hear? Well, the answer reveals a much deeper, more fundamental rule about how the world really works. It's because labels like investor or scammer aren't decided in the moment. They're decided long after the game is over. And they're decided by one thing: who won? There's actually a fantastic old Chinese proverb that just nails this idea perfectly. 成者王侯,败者贼寇. And the meaning is simple and brutal. If you win, you get to become the king, the noble, the hero. You write the history books. If you lose, you're remembered as a bandit, a thief, a villain. Your story gets written for you. And this isn't new. History is absolutely filled with this kind of reputation laundering. Think about it. Slave traders who made their fortune on human misery later funded universities and hospitals, and now their names are carved in stone as philanthropists. Pirates who terrorized the seas were later pardoned by the king and became celebrated heroes of the empire. It all boils down to power. If you become successful enough, you earn the ultimate prize, the power to control your own narrative. The questionable stuff you did to get there, it just kind of fades into the background. And the grand, respectable things you do later, that becomes your whole story. The past isn't erased. It just becomes irrelevant. And this really shows that our whole debate, investor, scammer, hero, villain, it's a luxury. It's a sideshow. The source material we're looking at here argues there's a much more fundamental, maybe even uncomfortable question we should be asking ourselves. Look at it this way. In any system, there are two kinds of people. You've got the player, the one who sees the whole board, the head surgeon planning the entire complex operation, the CEO setting the 5-year vision. And then you have the tool, the person executing one single command without seeing the big picture. The assistant who just books the operating room. The employee sent on a plane to fix a bug with no idea why it's so critical. The tractor driver just steering where they're told. And here's the source's final heart-stabbing point. For the vast, vast majority of us, the distinction between a Justin Sun and a Warren Buffett, it doesn't matter. Why? Because we're not in their league. We're not even playing the same game. We are, to put it bluntly, just the instruments. We're the mouse and the keyboard being used by the players to execute their strategy. So this is where we end. The real question isn't about whether they are heroes or villains. It's a question for you, for me, for all of us. Are you a player, or are you a tool in someone else's game? And if the answer is a tool, does hearing that truth sting?